So it's very rarely that I actually react to the same content creator one video after the other, but since Lorinity dropped this video out of absolutely nowhere, I have to watch it. It's called Why Play Guild Wars 2 in 2026. I mean, what other choice do I have? So let's give it a go, shall we? It's a very short video, 15 minutes long. Surely I won't make it into 30 minutes long.
Guild Wars 2 may be over a decade old, but recently everybody seems to be playing it again. Don't get me wrong, the game has always had an active player base, but last year it almost doubled its players on Steam.
Damn.
Not bad for a game that's 13 years old.
Man, you know some WoW players are watching this right now and they're like, oh, who cares, from 5k to 10k? Like, brother, it's so funny to me to see how World of Warcraft players have been brain wired to just look at charts and graphs all day, and that's it. It's just hilarious. And I'm not even a Guild Wars 2 player. I'm just a WoW player, right? I'm a retired WoW player. But still, it's just funny. I used to be like this, man. It's so sad. Thankfully, I'm cured.
It feels like you...
Partially.
You cannot mention any other MMO online without someone appearing out of nowhere and telling you you really should just go play Guild Wars 2 instead.
That's true for every MMO.
Why is this happening? Should you also try Guild Wars 2? Is the FOMO getting to you yet?
Literally every MMO has recruiters online that just trying to goad you into playing their game and saying that their game is the best. It's literally for every MMO. Who is the best at it? I'm not really sure. I think World of Warcraft players. Maybe because they're so sweaty and annoying. They're just like, ah, man, you know what? If they're being liked, if they're so incessant, then I guess I have to check the game out. And also the word to mouth that come about World of Warcraft. Man, that sounds really bad there. I didn't mean it like that. But basically the word is so strong about WoW that everyone kind of tends to just play it first. Because it's like the biggest MMO out there. But I think way more players should try Guild Wars 2, for sure. Especially when the base game is actually free. Just don't kill Zaitan, it's fine. It will be good.
Hello gamers, my name is Serenity and I make Guild Wars 2 content for a living. I've been playing this franchise since Guild Wars 1 20 years ago. And
Damn.
I've clocked over
I still need to play that.
15,000 hours in Guild Wars 2. In other words,
that's it?
I don't have a life. But fortunately for you, my lack of a life makes me the perfect person to explain to you why Guild Wars 2 is pretty cool, so that you can decide whether you might like it too.
Man,
I
this
did a
mount
pretty
is cool.
similar video 2 years ago, but a lot has changed since then, so I figured it was time for an update. Let's answer, why play Guild Wars 2 in 2026?
Let's actually
First, let's talk a bit about this recent resurgence. A couple months ago, Guild Wars 2 released a new expansion, Visions of Eternity.
I heard it was good.
There was a lot of hype around this one. Many players consider this the best expansion launch the game has had in years.
Damn.
It felt a bit more meaty
that's
than
good.
other recent expansions, and it also came out during a time where a lot of MMO players were looking for something new to play. It really was...
To be fair, that time lasted for, I guess, 15 years at this point. There was a long time that people searched MMO for. I mean, we're still in it. And to be honest, Guild Wars 2 isn't the solution. I just have to be honest here. It's vastly different from any MMO out there, and what most people are looking for is vertical MMO. Including myself, by the way. And I enjoy Guild Wars 2, and I love it for what it is, but it is never going to replace World of Warcraft. Never. Like, WoW Classic will always be my #1 MMO, and I would highly doubt any MMO coming in the next 5 years would ever replace it. I highly doubt that. Basically impossible. But hey, you know what? Maybe Ashes...
the perfect story.
Ashes of
but
Green.
I don't think the expansion is the only reason the game is doing so well. I also think a lot of MMO players are getting older and have less time to play. And Guild Wars 2 just happens to be the perfect MMO if you don't have time to log in every day. And today, I'm gonna explain to you why. One of the reasons I love this game is that it just feels polished and well made. The game world is beautiful. The combat animations are top notch and moving around just feels good. While some people consider the graphics a bit dated after 13 years, I think the strong art direction really makes up for it, especially...
Yeah, I've seen so many people are saying it, and maybe I just feel like the odd one out at this point, but I think the graphics are phenomenal. I really love the art. I really love the graphics, and I love the art of the game. The art direction is phenomenal. I love it. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I've heard so many people, even people that enjoys this game, say that the graphics are bad. And I guess it is what it is. I just have to face reality. Maybe not so many loving this graphics as much as I do, right?
Actually, in the later expansions. Gosh, just look at this. I think Guild Wars 2 is genuinely still
it's
one of
good.
the prettiest MMOs. When you start
It's
the
so
game,
good.
you first pick your character.
It's not the prettiest though, no. It's to say it's the prettiest, it's kind of a stretch, but it looks good. It looks good, 100%.
Character's race. There are of course the humans and the tall Viking humans, but there are also the beast-like Char, the rat-like Asura, and the plant-like Sylvari.
No.
Those last ones are my favorite. They're just
Azura.
so unique. Customizing your character's fashion is a huge part of Guild Wars 2, but don't worry about your decision too much. All races have the same stats, and most important progression is account-wide anyway, so it's easy to make lots of alt characters later on. Guild Wars 2 doesn't waste your time,
Just
and
a few
almost
alts?
immediately throws you into the open world. And that is where the game gets really interesting. In most MMOs, the open world is kind of just the tutorial. When a new expansion comes out, sure, everybody's in open world questing, but after that initial rush, it kind of becomes a ghost town. There's usually not a lot of reasons to go back. But in Guild Wars 2, the open world stays alive. The world is filled with dynamic events, which are things that just happen in the worlds. Maybe an NPC needs to be escorted. Maybe a town is under attack from centaurs. Or maybe an epic raid-style boss appears every 2 hours, which needs to be taken down by a huge squad of players.
And I believe that that is the future of MMOs. I truly believe that Guild Wars 2 has cracked the code, and I think that the regular old way of just going to an NPC, ask him for his entire life savings just to, for you to give him 10 bear asses for no good reason would be over. This entire era is just gone, and we will be completely immersed in the glory of Guild Wars 2 dynamic quest system. The fact that you don't need to talk to any NPC, you just go to a certain zone and you can assess for yourself what's going on and what you need to do to make sure you actually advance the quest meter, because that's how it works in Guild Wars 2. You reach a certain area and then you have a meter and you need that meter to fill up all the way to the end. And the way you do that is by achieving certain goals, right? Let's say you have a centaur raid a certain village. Okay, then you know that you need to help kill the centaurs, tend to the wounded, fortify some walls, whatever, stuff like that, right? So automatically in your brain, you can make sense that, hey, something's bad is going on with the centaurs. Clearly, they attacking the human villages, then don't like him for any reason. So you can go around and you can actually ask the quest giver, what the hell are they doing here? What's going on? And you can get more information this way. But 70 to 80% of the stuff you can get by yourself. Like, you can understand. So that's really good. And I think that that is truly the future of MMORPGs. I truly believe that. And I hope more and more MMOs in the future would steal that from Guild Wars 2. I really do.
It feels amazing exploring the worlds and then suddenly stumbling upon an army of players fighting a massive dragon. And the rewards for these huge events are actually quite good, so they're still relevant at Endgame.
God damn.
The leveling zones also stay alive. Guild Wars 2 has mega servers, which means there's basically one huge server for you and one huge server for
That's
NA.
so good. I always advocated for mega servers, like always. But right now, I think World of Warcraft and Blizzard just don't... I don't know if they don't have the technology, but they don't invest in it. I heard Ashes of Creation, with how much I laugh at this game, they actually invested enough money for the technology to be implemented of... servers being tied to like locations, and you swap servers as you play the game automatically. Obviously, you don't need to like manually click stuff. I think that's great. I think that's the future of gaming. But yeah, I mean, you do need to have like mega servers. That has to be the future of MMOs. I think that splitting your fan base between well, player base more than fan base, between your servers is really bad call. I don't think it's good. It led to a lot of problems in the past in World of Warcraft, and you know which one I'm talking about. I'm talking about domination of certain faction. So basically, if you're playing on Alliance, you pretty much have to roll into an Alliance-only server. Otherwise, you're just going to be completely screwed, because if you play Alliance into a Horde-only server, you won't find anyone to play with. And that actually happened to me, and there was also a mass exodus of people from certain factions, and that also led to a huge problem. And the way Blizzard fixed this is by giving free realm transfers back in the day, but that shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the problem. You should have one mega server, and that's it.
If a map isn't very popular, it funnels everyone into a single shard. This means that there's pretty much always people for you to run into. Besides these events, the maps are filled with hidden secrets, mini dungeons, jumping puzzles, and there's also
so many jumping
map
puzzles.
completion checklist, which is perfect if you're a completionist.
Oh man, I'm
and
so
you
close
just
to 100.
need to get every single map marker before moving on. In later expansions, you will also need to master movement tools.
Damn,
you do this by
that
leveling
looks
up
so
after you
good.
max level. You can learn how to glide, how to use jumping mushrooms, or how to ride different mounts.
God
Actually,
bless.
let's talk about those. I think Guild Wars 2
strongest point.
easily has the best mounts out of any MMO. There's a reason that everyone says WoW Dragonflies kinda copies Guild Wars 2's homework.
They have, and they failed at it too. It was way worse than Guild Wars.
There are 9 different mount types, and these all have their own movement abilities. The Raptor can jump super far, and the Springer can jump super
What?
high. There's the
Wait,
Griff.
why her Raptor can jump so far and my Raptor just jump 1 meter and that's it? What in God's name is going on?
Which is like a jet plane
I'm
that
missing
can do
out on
crazy
something.
stunts. And there's also the Sky skill for slower, precise air movements. However, my favorite mounts are probably the Roller Beetle, which is like a motorcycle that can
That
drift.
looks insane.
And the Janfair Warclaw, which is like Torn from Elden Ring, if it couldn't just double jump, but quadruple jump. It's also just really freaking cute. These mounts make moving around the open world an absolute joy, and leveling all of them is one of the first goals I recommend going for. But the biggest reason I sometimes struggle to get into other MMOs is their combats. Guild Wars 2 has kinda spoiled me. Guild Wars 2's combat kinda feels like a mix of a traditional tap-targeted MMO and a MOBA game. It is really fast and really mobile. Most skills that you move while casting, and there are lots of gap closers, skill shots, blinks. You cast skills very fast with no global cooldown, and it kind of makes other MMOs feel slow and archaic by comparison. There's also a Dark Souls style dodge roll, which really makes the combat feel more active and more engaging. Just make sure you don't accidentally dodge off the boss platform. There are 9 different classes in Guild Wars 2, but there is a...
So, do I think that Guild Wars 2 combat is the best? I don't know. It's either Guild Wars 2 or World of Warcraft. Definitely not New World. You know, if certain guys watching this. But Guild Wars 2 and World of Warcraft are the best. I'm still gonna give it to World of Warcraft. I think Blizzard has truly nailed the craft of targeting. But Guild Wars 2 is definitely a close second. Like, the combat is fire. It's just not as smooth as WoW. That's pretty much it. Like, abilities are fire. I love the abilities. But, yeah, they feel good technically to play. But WoW just hits better. I don't know why. WoW just feels way smoother.
Ridiculous
For me,
amount
at least.
of playstyles. Each class has 4 different elite specializations at max level, which can significantly change your...
And no identity whatsoever. Oh, but I had to say it. Guy, you know, whenever someone talks about Guild Wars 2 classes, I have to mention that class identity in this game is lacking. And I thought to myself, damn, am I going to open this debate for the 7th time in a row? Yeah, I am. Because Guild Wars 2 class identity is severely lacking, and this is something that we need to talk about. And you guys honestly just clown on me every single time in the comments saying the same thing. And I don't get it. How do you think that a Guardian with a heavy armor, okay, can play like a ninja with Willbender? It doesn't make any sense, okay? Please explain to me how a Guardian can wield 2 katanas and just go to town on someone. A Guardian with heavy armor. It's just weird, man. It just doesn't make sense. And I get the fact that, yeah, they use magic power, sure, for some abilities. But I would never understand why, as a Dragon Hunter, you can put traps that deals insane light magic damage and they defend people. It's weird. And why are there traps? Whenever you talk about traps with someone, they would never tell you that's the case. And the fact that they have done it doesn't mean that it's good. Okay? Like, we need to set the record straight. Guild Wars 2 class identity is severely lacking. Now, that being said, the recent elite specializations were absolutely fire. They were insanely on theme, and every single spec was like really good in its corresponding role, to its corresponding role, sorry. So Warrior got a healer called Paragon, which is actually like makes sense. It's a fighter that is also a healer, which is completely normal. Guardian got the Luminary, which is, you know, just a way of guarding people, but with light power, which is absolutely phenomenal. That's what I play. It's completely on theme and it's great. You got the Ranger actually getting a bow and stuff, which Ranger doesn't necessarily mean like range, right? It can mean a scout, so it's fine. But yeah, they got the bow and arrow, classic wind attacks, perfect. And we can go on and on and on and on. But basically, the class identity was 100 out of 100. It was perfect. And clearly they have learned from the past. And I appreciate that.
Class mechanics. A necromancer, for example, can become a reaper with a spooky scythe, a scourge mastering the desert sands, a harbinger with martial arts, or a ritualist summoning spirits. After 13 years, there are now a total of 36 elite specs, and there is also a ton of build customization. Every class can be built to fulfill every PvE role.
Yeah.
So
also, the Mesmer becoming a troubadour, right? I forgot about that. Like, that's perfect bard. Like, that's what Mesmer do. That's what bards are doing. They're mesmerizing people. That's literally it. And someone literally told me in the comments they have Vicious Mockery, which is really cool. So I love that. That's perfect. They clearly nailed class identity with the recent expansion.
Yes, every single class can be a healer. You can even be a warrior shouting at people to make them feel better. If you need any help picking a class, I actually have a class guide going over each class with their first 3 elite specializations. And then I also have a separate newer video talking about the new elite specs from the new expansion. Definitely give those a watch if you're interested. Alright, so you've picked your build, you spent all this time gearing up, and you've finally gotten into some raiding. And then life got kinda busy, so you took a short break. And now you're back and wow, all of your epic raid gear has become useless. That guy over there has played for 20 minutes and he already has better gear than you. This happens in a lot of MMOs, but not in Guild Wars 2, because in
yeah, but you also need to be fair and talk about a trade-off, which is there is no power fantasy. You lose every single power fantasy element, and that's why not many people are playing Guild Wars 2. And instead they're opting for vertical MMOs. And again, I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. It's a trade. And you need to make sure people understand that. Because, again, man, I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, and people are going to hate me for it. Guys, you need to realize that I'm not hating on any MMO whatsoever. I'm saying that there's a different time and place for each and one of them to shine. So I think that there isn't any war between Guild Wars 2 and vertical MMOs. I think that they can actually be both played at the same time. Whenever a new patch in, let's take World of Warcraft as an example, comes out, you can play that patch, you can achieve max gear, and then just quit and play Guild Wars 2 in the meantime. And whichever point you stopped in when you played Guild Wars 2 would still be the same when you come back in. So it's good. You don't have to like one thing or the other. It's not a war, it's a preference. And you can play both. Like, I do that, and it's fine. Obviously, I quit WoW recently because, you know, just I got kind of tired of it. But I play other games, and I played Guild Wars 2, and it's great. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Now, the lack of FOMO does contribute to the lack of players, because FOMO is a hell of a drug. But at the same time, it's what makes it so fun for me. And it's also inviting a lot of people, a lot of players too. So this is great. I love that. But you need to make absolutely sure that you notify the people that there is a trade. They will have no power fantasy in the game. Guild Wars 2 isn't about power fantasy, it's about collecting achievements and collecting fashion items mostly. And you need to make sure people know that.
Guild Wars 2, they never increased the level or gear cap.
Yeah.
Decent gear from 10 years ago is still decent gear today, and it doesn't take long at all to get maxed out gear. Whether you manage to defeat a hard boss is a matter of skill, not a matter of how much gear farming you did. And because your gear never gets outdated, it is really easy to take a break from the game and then jump straight back into max level content later.
True.
Have I also mentioned there is no
But again, you need to make sure people know. It's also why so many people are not playing the game, because they want the power fantasy. Power fantasy is a crucial element, and having a finish line inside of an MMORPG is important too.
Subscription fee. The lack of a sub fee and the lack of a gear grind makes Guild Wars 2 the perfect MMO to play casually if you have a busy life. You can log in whenever you have time and jump straight back into content. And if you gotta take a break for a bit, you won't fall horribly behind or feel guilty about wasting your sub fee. But what about those of us who don't have a life? I see you old school RuneScape mains. Some of us just want to grind 10 hours a day. If you get max level and max gear that fast, then what is there left for you to do? Well, first of all, there are a lot of long-term goals besides leveling and gearing. Maybe you want to finish all expansion stories, level up all the mounts, get good at PvP, or defeat the hardest raid bosses. But still, it can be nice to have that carrot on a stick that keeps you going. In Guild Wars 2, that carrot on a stick is legendary gear. Getting legendary gear is the ultimate late game goal in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, I really can't wait until I work on legendary.
But it doesn't actually have better stats than easy to get Ascendant gear.
What the fuck was that? That was crazy. Holy. What in God's name is this? Jesus, man, I've never seen that. That's insane.
But it doesn't actually have better stats than the easy to get Ascendant gear. This means that this legendary grind is entirely optional. But what legendary gear
and that's why people won't do it.
does do is offer amazing utility, like free stat swapping, free transmutation.
Horrendous. I hate the stat swapping. It's horrendous. I truly hate that. And again, I know it sounds like I'm being salty about the game. Guys, you need to understand, I love this game. I play it all the time. But I have to be honest, like, I'm probably one of the only Guild Wars 2 content creators that can actually come from a different perspective and shed some light about the problems of this game, or at least something that other people may find problematic. Okay? So I'm making these type of videos so we can communicate respectfully with one another and actually understand, like, what's the best and what's the worst about a game. And I think that stat swapping is really weird. I did not enjoy it whatsoever. I love when stats are tied to items. Now you can say that it's bad, whatever, and it makes item irrelevant. I love that. I love it when there are irrelevant items, and I love the fact that there are items that are more valuable and items that are situational. I don't like swapping stats. I never have. Okay, and I never will.
And using it on multiple characters at once. This is huge if you like to play multiple builds and multiple characters. And also, they are shiny, so naturally I need to own all of them. 15,000 hours, baby. Okay, perfect. You now know all about the combat, buildcraft, and progression of Guild Wars 2. But what is it we actually do in this game? What is the endgame like? Back in 2012, the most common criticism of Guild Wars 2 was that there wasn't enough to do at the endgame. But fortunately, after 13 years of updates, that has gotten a lot better. I already talked about the open world still being relevant at max level, but there is also instance content if that's your thing. The primary game modes are 5-man fractal dungeons and 10-man raids. Fractal dungeons are your typical 5-man dungeon experience, but you can also level up your fractal
I need to run fractals
to increasingly more difficult fractals. You start off in tier 1, which is really chill and cozy, but eventually you can climb all the way to tier 4, or even the super hard challenge modes. It's kinda like Mythic Plus, but before WoW did it. For 10-man content, there are raids, either with standalone bosses or in multi-boss raid wings. Some of those are pretty easy, but there are also a couple of bosses with legendary modes. These are so hard that only the most try-hard players have managed to complete them.
We're gonna do
that.
Huge
time investment, kinda like ultimates in FF14. But clearing them feels amazing and you get some major bragging rights. Getting into raids or fractals for the first time can be quite intimidating, because you have to recruit a team of friends or use the LFG tool. EOD, CMs, FC, LF, Q, DPS. What the heck does that even mean? Fortunately, as I am making this video, the game is testing a new quick play feature for easy content. So instead of using the LFG, you can just press a button and get match made automatically. This is already in beta for—
Yeah, that's good. I heard a lot of people are excited for this new feature. Yeah, a lot of people spoke highly of this. I think it's great. I think it's great that ArenaNet is actually listening to its player base and implementing those changes. It's important. I believe so.
Fractals, and Raid Quick Play is just a couple weeks away as I'm recording this video. I think this will make it way easier to get into this content, and I'm honestly surprised it took them this long to add it. If PvP is more your thing, there are 2 game modes for you to enjoy.
Oh man,
here.
I need to try PvP as well.
My favorite is Worlds versus Worlds. Imagine a huge map with armies of players fighting over territory. There are small skirmishes over resource camps, battle over towers, and huge castle sieges.
Yo, that looks fun!
It is super cool, and even if you're a newbie, it's easy to jump in and help out somehow. Just be careful for veteran players ganking you. I feel so bad. Like,
nah, it's okay.
They started
the hell is that?
Toxic. No, I wasn't 2. They made. If you prefer a more structured environment, there's also a 5v5 PvP mode. Here you fight over capture points and everyone's stats are standardized. These matches can get really sweaty. This is where Guild Wars 2's fast-paced combat really shines, and getting good at this game mode requires some real skill and dedication.
Yeah, this looks insanely fun.
I don't have. I just know one single
After watching all of this, I realize how far behind I am. It's crazy. I'm still trying to 100% Tyria, and I'm really close to it too. I just have a couple of zones left. It's probably gonna take me like 2 weeks or so, because, yeah, you know, I have other things that I'm doing in the meantime. But, damn, I cannot wait to actually start doing PvP. It looks so good, like PvP, raids, fractals, all of the stuff, new expansions. I just want to hear, like, the new story, because, man, Tyria's story wasn't good. But I'm about to start Living World Season 1 soon, and hopefully it will get better. I heard 4 is kind of the best, but yeah, I'm waiting, man. It's gonna be glorious.
Combo to burst people, but gosh, I always have a lot of fun. But with all of that being said,
nice execute.
I think the real reason Guild Wars 2 is so special is its community. They are the reason I log in every day.
Yes.
I know it's a bit of a cliche,
Yes.
but the game is actually designed to encourage players to be nice to one another. There is no kill.
Imagine that as a WoW player. Jesus, man. Oh my god. I played classic World of Warcraft TBC, not the recent one, the one before it, if you can believe it. Yeah, it wasn't fun. The community was so toxic because retail mentality has clearly sipped into classic, and people literally called me out for playing Retribution Paladin, which, if you don't know anything about World of Warcraft, basically it's a melee DPS, and you never play a melee DPS in World of Warcraft. You only play a Warlock or a Mage, or people would literally treat you as like a leper, okay? You are a pariah. Nobody would ever come close to you. You won't be invited to anything. I've been kicked out of dungeons because I said that I was a DPS. I got an invite. People saw that I was a paladin and they immediately kicked me. It happened to me numerous times. And I had like mages and warlocks laugh at me for my low DPS, even though I was doing seal switching and I was doing my best. Seal switching is just a mechanic that paladins can do in TBC to increase their DPS. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but even because I was slightly below them and they just pressed like one button like monkeys, like they still clowned on me for actually doing my best. Because who cares? WoW players are programmed to look at charts constantly and DPS meters. They have completely lost their mind. So I decided to quit TBC because of that. And when the recent TBC has rolled in, I looked at it and I thought about playing it, and then I went like, nah, I'm gonna stay in Guild Wars 2.
Seeding in Guild Wars 2. If 2 players tag a mob, they just both get full rewards. Resource nodes are instant for each player, so there's no fighting over resources. And if your health bar hits 0, you don't immediately die. Instead, you go into downstate, giving you a chance to take down the mob you're fighting.
I love the
or
downstate.
to be rest by another player. Everyone in this game can rest others, and many times have I gone downstate in the middle of an AoE, only for 6 players to all go downstate too, trying to save me. I am so sorry. I really appreciate you trying though. In Guild Wars 2, you are almost always happy to see another player. They're not here to steal your loot, they're here to help you out, and maybe you'll even make a new friend in the process. Every year, I go on holiday with lifelong friends.
I remember going to one guy in WoW and like trying to, like, you know, have a little chat, and everyone told me to like get the hell away from them. Man, that was so much fun. As an RP player, I love that. It's just fun for me. It's the experience, it's the players, right? You come to someone and you try to tell them a joke and they just tell you to shut the fuck up. Like, it's crazy, dude. Man, I hate World of Warcraft. it's so bad. And I mean, Guild Wars 2 is slowly starting to cure me. Jesus, I don't know what happened there. And I have so many great interactions with random people I meet inside of the vast world of Tyria. It's so lovely. Like, I miss that. I truly miss that. I play MMOs for the MMO. I played it. I play it for the massive multiplayer online aspect. I truly love seeing new people and actually interacting with them. Not just seeing them in numbers, but actually interacting and chatting with people and meeting new friends, potentially. And that's the best thing about Guild Wars 2, is that you can still do that. Nowadays, it doesn't happen.
friends that I made in this game.
In World of Warcraft,
Guild
at
Wars
least.
2 has really changed my life for the better, and it's made me meet people that I never would have met otherwise. Alright, that is enough being weirdly emotional about a video game. Let's ruin the vibes. Let's talk about money. I actually think the monetization of Guild Wars 2 is one of the better ones in the MMO industry.
Yeah, it's fair.
There is no subscription fee, but there is a cash shop with microtransactions.
Yeah.
However, I would argue that the cash shop is actually not too bad. There's still plenty of gorgeous skins to earn in-game, and the skip items are really not that relevant, since getting max level and max gear is really fast.
Yeah, but you have pay-to-win elements inside of the shop. Again, I understand that she's trying to protect a game that she likes, but you also need to be fair. You always need to be fair. Maybe it's just me because I love being honest, and I get so much flack for it because, you know, at the end of the day, if you're being completely honest with people, they're gonna hate you for it. But I feel like with you guys it's okay because you actually respect my opinion, and I can see that clearly. So I'm just going to say it. There is a pay-to-win shop in Guild Wars 2. I'm gonna outright call it. Is it the worst? Obviously not. I haven't felt compelled to enter the shop one bit and purchase anything from there. I think that it's fine because it's moderate. It's on the back burner, and you can use it if you want to have a little bit of a shortcut, and that's okay. Well, I mean, it's not okay. I'm against pay to win because I think that pay for convenience is pay to win, but at the same time, since it doesn't really bother me, it's fine. I can live with that. But to say that it doesn't exist, it's just a lie.
There are
You can't ignore
a couple
it
of
either.
convenience items that I would argue are must-buys, like more bank space. But you can actually convert in-game gold to the cash shop currency.
That is horrendous. You should not be able to do that because the other way is also true. And you need to be transparent about that. That is horrendous. Horrible.
So you can obtain those purely through playing the game. My least favorite part of the monetization is probably the Black Lion chest, which is a loot box with exclusive skins in it. I do not like loot boxes, but fortunately you can play the game just fine without ever buying one. They are not needed for gear upgrades or whatever. Another way the developers make money is by selling expansions. The base game is free, but most of the game content is in these expansions.
Fair
I would
enough.
really consider Guild Wars 2 a buy-to-play game, with the base game being a free trial. With Visions of Eternity, there are now 6 expansions in total, which all are still actively played. That can definitely be a bit steep as a new player. However, I always recommend not feeling like you need to get all expansions at once. You cannot play them all at once anyway. The expansions also go on sale pretty regularly, so if you really do want to grab everything at once,
True.
waiting for a sale can save
I
you a
purchase
lot of
everything on
money.
sale.
If you need any help with this, I recently made an expansion buyer's guide, which you should definitely check out. You can try the base game for absolutely free though, so
Yeah,
if
this
Guild Wars
guy's
2
dope.
sounds good to you, I would say give it a shot, and maybe you'll like it just as much
Yes.
as I do. And then suddenly, 15,000 hours will pass, and you're suddenly 13 years older. Would recommend. And that's it for me today. If you're getting started with Guild Wars 2, definitely check out the rest of my channel for lots of guides and other content. If you have any questions, the best way to ask me is to stop by my Twitch stream over at...
Okay, yeah, I think that's the end of it. Great video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Make sure you enter a video and actually give it a like. It's a great video as always. But I do feel like she only talked about the positives, which I do understand this is a video of why play Guild Wars 2. But I feel it would have been a little bit better, like at least a little bit better, if she actually spoke a little bit about the bad stuff. I think that would have been fair. But, you know, or at the very least, mention it. At the very least, right? So people would know and people would understand and don't think it's like a hype fiesta. But that's why I'm here for, right? To say all of this stuff. Regardless, great video. I enjoyed this one a lot. I'm glad I actually watched it. It's, you know, it's really fun that I get to meet, well, not meet, I get to just interact with all of these cool videos and with you guys because I haven't been part of the Guild Wars 2 community. So as a WoW outsider, just coming into your world and meet all of these great content creators, it's just lovely for me. I just love that. Like Rose, Larinity, Muckluck, all of these videos that we watch from all of these different content creators, it's great. It's feel like I'm discovering a brand new world that was constantly under my nose and I didn't even pay attention to it. So I love that. Keep recommending me more videos like this you want me to watch. This was great.